In this video, I'm going to share seven podcasts that you really need to be listening to if you're an online course creator or if you are thinking about creating an online course, because these 7 podcasts will help you grow your online course business. Now, before I started my business, I would actually listen to podcasts like these while I was at work. I don't think my boss knew about it, but I would sneak earpods, whatever they're called. And I would listen to these podcasts while I was at my desk. And this is one of the biggest things that actually helped me make the leap from working at a job to starting my own business, was just getting all of that information before I got started. I feel like I've learned way more from listening to other people's advice and experiences than I did in college and law school combined. So I think there's a lot of value to be gained here. So without further ado, these are the 7 online course podcasts that I'm currently listening to and that I would encourage you to listen to as well. The first one on my list is the Mariah Show. Now, I've been following Mariah for years, and I think that her content is amazing because it is just so practical. She focuses on how to build online course businesses that don't depend solely on launching. She gives a lot of advice on how to build evergreen systems that can sell your online course on autopilot so that you're making consistent income every single month instead of going through the feast and famine cycle that can happen if you're only doing live launches. But she also recommends doing live launches periodically to get those larger influxes of revenue that tend to come with doing live launches. You know, so often we hear people claim that there's only one right way to sell an online course, and it's usually the way that they're selling in their online course. So it's really refreshing to find someone who's willing to share strategies that incorporate both of those perspectives. There's a lot of discussion on the strategy that goes into setting up systems that you need to run an evergreen sales funnel or sales process for selling your course. Some of the episodes are just her addressing specific questions like, when is the best time of year to launch? But then she'll also bring on other online course creators to talk about the specific strategies that they're using in their businesses as well. So there's a lot to learn from this one. I'd highly recommend checking it out. I'll put the link in the description for all of these podcasts that I'm mentioning below so that you can take a look if you'd like. The second podcast on my list is Level Up Your Course with Janelle Allen. Janelle is an instructional designer, so that's someone who actually designs course curriculum, who helps consultants, coaches, and CEOs create online programs that improve student results, increase revenue, and boost their authority. So Janelle is someone who really knows her stuff when it comes to creating program curriculum. Her podcast focuses on the strategies and struggles of successful online course creators. It's mostly interview-based, but it covers a huge range of really important topics. Everything from creating effective and engaging learning experiences for your students, which is really important as an online course creator, to legal issues that course creators can run into, to marketing and selling your course. So if you're serious about creating really amazing, engaging learning experiences for your online course students, you have to check this one out. The third podcast on my list is the Online Course Masters podcast with Phil Ebner. Phil has had a lot of success with Udemy. He's sold courses to over 1 million students on the platform over the past couple of years. So if you're someone who's considering selling courses on Udemy or wants to understand what it takes to actually be successful on that platform specifically, on the Udemy platform specifically, you are going to want to check this one out. Phil covers a broad range of topics from creating online courses as a side hustle, something that I know a lot of people are trying to do, to writing effective promotional announcements on Udemy. So that's where that specific Udemy piece comes in. There's a lot of things that are very specific to the platform that he talks about, but he also sells his video and photography courses on Teachable as well. I believe he sells them on Teachable. But the point is that even if you aren't interested in selling on Udemy exclusively, you'll still learn a ton from his podcast because he's someone who has sold on multiple platforms. He interviews all kinds of course creators on the show, and I've picked up a ton of useful tips and strategies from listening to these episodes. Number 4 on my list is the Rise to the Top podcast with David Siteman Garland. I've been following David online for at least 10 years now. He has this infectious, energetic personality, which I absolutely love. So if you're looking for some motivation or to get excited and pumped up about creating your online course, which is something that you might find really useful if you're in the middle of the course creation process right now, because it can be a little bit of a slog when you're in the middle of it. So if you find yourself there, David's podcast is really great for just getting you motivated and kind of pumped up and excited about what you're doing. Sometimes we just need that little push to get us to the finish line. I would also say that his podcast is great for learning about very specific topics in a short amount of time. So most of the episodes are him tackling a specific question or issue, like how much content should course creators give away for free, or how to get affiliate partners to promote your course. So even if you only have a few minutes, you can pick up some really valuable nuggets from this podcast in a short amount of time. All right, number 5 on my list is the Everything is Teachable podcast, which is hosted by the people who created the Teachable course software platform. I think the real value with this podcast is that they interview specific creators in really specific niches. So where some of the other podcasts give generic course creation and marketing advice, here, you actually get to learn from people who are creating very specialized courses. For example, they interview people who are teaching cake decorating, yoga teacher training, and there's even an episode with an instructor who teaches a course on raising goats, which is really kind of cool. These are very specific, specialized courses, and I think that there's a lot of value in learning from people who are finding success in these very tiny niches, because this is probably going to be a lot more relatable than some of the more hypey content that we all tend to see online these days. So I'd recommend checking that out and listening to some of those stories, because if nothing else, it's encouraging to hear that you don't have to necessarily be teaching people how to make money or how to lose weight to have a successful online course business. All right, number 6 is the Online Course Show with Jacques Hopkins. Jacques started out selling an online piano course in 2013. Like many course creators, he really struggled at first and had to go through a lot of trial and error to find success. But today, he earns enough income from his online course that he's able to support himself and his family, which is a goal that I think a lot of us have. So that's just a little bit about his background, but I think his experience is really relatable because this is what most of us go through. There's so much hype out there that tries to make you think that creating an online course should be super easy and that you should be making 6 figures with your online course right away or you're doing something wrong. But that's just not how this works. And because of that, what tends to happen is that when we don't see the level of success that we see other people claiming to have, who are usually just trying to sell you something, by the way, we tend to start feeling like we're failing. Like maybe our course just isn't that good. Like we don't have what it takes, or that this just isn't going to work out. And it starts this downward spiral of negativity. But in reality, that's just part of the process. And when you finally figure out that that's normal and that you just need to keep going and tweaking things, and eventually all of that effort will lead to success. So Jacques shares a lot of strategies from his own experience and frequently brings on guests that offer valuable lessons and unique perspectives. He covers a broad range of topics like online course funnels, marketing your course on LinkedIn, transitioning away from Udemy, which is something I know that a lot of you here care about, and outsourcing tasks to virtual assistants and project managers. So there's a lot of good, really unique topics discussed here. I think this one is definitely worth checking out. And finally, number 7 is the Online Course Coach podcast with Jeff Long. Jeff started working with large companies in 2003 to develop corporate trainings and has taken all of that knowledge and experience and brought it into the online course space. So while Jeff shares a lot from his own experience on his podcast, he focuses on interviewing small business owners who have incorporated online courses into their existing business. So if that's something that you are interested in doing, and I know that there's a lot of people looking to do that, that's something that I've done in my own small business, is taken the things that I'm offering as one-on-one services and actually turned that into a course to create another revenue stream for my business. So if that's something that you're specifically interested in, I would say check out this podcast because you're going to find a lot of great nuggets here. So some of the topics that he covered recently on the podcast were joint ventures, white labeling courses for companies, just general teaching tips, and copywriting, all things that we need to know as online course creators. So there's a massive wealth of knowledge to be gained from this podcast, so I highly recommend adding it to your podcast playlist. So those are the 7 podcasts that I'm listening to right now. And if there's a podcast about online course creation or online business in general that could help online course creators that you love that I left off the list, please let me know. I'm always looking to add more shows to my podcast library, and I'm sure that others watching this would love to know what you are listening to as well. So let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.